So everyone, and welcome to Career Launcher. So I hope you are aware that every Sunday at 8 p.m. we are doing this static GK discussion where we discuss important static GK facts in question and answer format. So it is here. We are actually, it's 8 p.m. Let us start without wasting our time. So let us start with the first question. So in the last class, actually, we were somewhere here. We were actually talking about this in the last class and the last Sunday, that which of the following articles talks about abolition of titles, and we had discussed that it is Article 18, and we had also discussed that right to equality is one of the fundamental rights, and it is from Article 14 to 18. Okay, so that's what you should be knowing. B is the right answer. Right? So we had discussed about it. We had discussed that the citizen Indian government cannot give any title, and no citizen of India shall accept any title from any foreign state. Also, we had discussed. Okay, तो उसमें लिखा no title not being a military or academic distinction, है ना? So it means a military and academic distinction can be recognized, like PhD, doctor, है ना? Paramveer Chakra, etc. So that is what you should know. We had discussed in the last class. We had discussed about Balaji case, Raghavan case, where Padma Awards are not titles under Article 18. That is why Padma Awards are allowed. Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, these are awards. Bharat Ratna, these are given every year. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Which of the following articles prohibit human trafficking? And that is also a part of fundamental right. So we have a fundamental right called as the right against exploitation. Okay, Article 23 and 24 talks about it. So here, right against exploitation is Article 23 and 24. So here we are talking about option B, Article 23. It says prohibition of traffic in human being and forced labor. Yes, B is the right answer, right? Parth, Siddhivesh, you all are right. Traffic in human beings and beggar and other similar forms of forced labor are prohibited, and any contribution to this shall be a offense punishable in accordance with the law. Okay, that's what you should be knowing. Similarly, we have Article 24, which talks about prohibition of child labor. Prohibiting child labor in hazardous factories. And here, when they are saying hazardous factory, child labor less than 14 years. Yes, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the class. Good evening, yes. Okay, so that is what you should be knowing about. Now, आगे चलते हैं, let's move on. Bihar government had almost 10 years back, 2015-16, they had banned liquor. Which of the following DPSP the Bihar government had implemented? (47, 48, 49, 51). Anyone? Yes, the right answer is Article 47 is the right answer to this question. है ना? देखो उसमें क्या लिखा है? Duty of the state to raise the level of nutrition and the standard of living, है ना? And to improve public health. This is the title, है ना? उसके बाद से it starts. The state shall regard raising the level of nutrition and standard of living, है ना? So state should try its best to raise the level of nutrition. Raise the level of nutrition means food quality, food, है ना? Food fortification होता है. Fortification. So government comes up with a lot of schemes, midday meal, other schemes to provide good quality nutrition in government schools. Standard of living of its people. Increase standard of living and improvement in public health means government hospitals coming up with government hospitals, Ayushman Bharat and many others among its primary duties. The state shall also endeavor means koshish karna, try its best to bring about prohibition of consumption except for medicinal purpose of intoxicating drinks and drugs which are injurious to health. Okay, except for medicinal purpose, I'm sure you must be aware. Liquor, alcohol, and these are even used in medical also field as a medicine. So that is an exception. But other than that, Article 47 says that the state should try its best to ban these, prohibit these drinks which are injurious to health, like alcohol, etc., wine, beer, etc. And here, duty of the state here means everything like state government, central government. It is capital S, हुकूमत की सेंस में ही है ना. Okay, so state government, central government, government of India, state legislature, parliament, सब कुछ आ जाता है इसमें state में. ठीक है, that's what you should be knowing. So A is the right answer to this question, Article 47. Let's move on to the next one. What do you mean by electoral college? Please tell me. Sir, good evening, sir. With your blessing and fat, I've admitted to CLS Hyderabad. Thank you. Oh, great. Chandra Lekha, I'm very happy to see. Congratulations. And I'm very happy to see that you have got selected into SLS Hyderabad. And you are also very happy, I'm sure. Your parents were must be very happy. And my prayers and blessings to you that in your future life also, wherever you are in the college days or in your job life or wherever you are, you will actually remain successful or continue to have success in your life. And not only you, all my students, my prayers and blessings to all my students, those who are preparing, they should also go to good colleges very soon. Yes, very happy, बहुत अच्छा लगता है. Feel very happy when I see students actually writing that yes, my effort and blessings helped students qualify the exam. Okay, yes, so basically we are talking about electoral college. It is a set of electors who are selected to elect president. Yes, that is what you should know. Electoral college. B is the right answer. Not prime minister. Prime minister के लिए you need only majority. लोक सभा MPs में majority चाहिए. You need majority here. Means for prime ministership, because people wrote option A. So for prime ministership in Lok Sabha we have 543 seats. You have to divide it by 2. So it is 271.5. Means you have to cross the half mark. So technically you need 272 seats. 272 Lok Sabha MPs should support you. Then only you will become prime minister. It has nothing to do with electoral college. Electoral college is for president election. And we ask also that electoral college of president of India comprises of what? So answer is elected MPs and elected MLAs for president election. So elected MPs, when I'm saying both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but only elected, not nominated. Similarly, MLAs also. So these comprises of electoral college for president of India. Okay, that's what you should know. And you know that president of India is indirectly elected through the process of proportional representation through single transferable vote with secret ballot. Because this question was asked in CLAT exam in 2023, as far as I remember. PRSTV, proportional representation through single transferable vote with secret ballot. Okay. What is the key difference between elected and nominated? Yes, I'll tell you. The elected MPs. So let me show. For example, in Rajya Sabha, so Lok Sabha MPs, all MPs are elected nowadays. All 553 are elected directly by the people. People go and vote. For example, last year we had seen elections. Rajya Sabha, we are having 233 people who are 233 MPs who are indirectly elected, although it is also an election. Indirectly elected, not by the people, but the MLAs vote. The state MLAs come and vote. But there are 12 nominated also in Rajya Sabha who do not fight any election. They are chosen by the president directly. from the category of science, social service, etc. You know these things. You know? So when president voting is happening, there's 543 and these 233 will go and vote. These 12 will not go and vote. That's called as elected, only elected ones, not nominated ones. But that is not the case with vice president election. When vice president elections happen, all MPs, for vice president, all MPs of Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha go and vote, irrespective of whether you are elected or nominated. But legislative assembly members do not go and vote. No MLAs go and vote for vice president election. But if you see in president election, legislative assembly, elected MLAs go and vote. Even from union territory. For example, we have in Delhi, we have in Jammu and Kashmir, we have in Puducherry. Elections are there, legislative assemblies there in union territory. So they also go and vote. Okay. Are you clear? Okay, clear? So election process is proportional representation through single transferable vote with secret ballot. Okay. Because this was asked in the exam, you should know the full form. Let me write it clearly. Proportional representation through single transferable vote. Through single transferable vote. Now you'll be asking, sir, ye kya hota hai? For that, I need 1 hour to explain this. And I don't think they will ask you how it works. Proportional representation through single transferable vote with secret ballot. Just remember it. Now, but when the election of Lok Sabha MPs happen, it is not proportional representation. Lok Sabha election or legislative assembly elections happen. What is that term called? उसको कौन सा term कहा जाता है? There's a special word for that. That is called as first past the post system. First past the post system, FPTPS. This is also important, you should know. है ना? रुको मैं बताता हूँ. First past the post system. Now the name itself says. How to remember this? What is the idea behind this? So let's say, for example, there is a Lok Sabha constituency. कोई भी मान लो, जैसे मान लो there is a Lok Sabha constituency in Delhi. कोई एक constituency ले लो, because there are 7 Lok Sabha constituency in Delhi, but I'm taking anyone, let's say Delhi, Central Delhi, let's say something. Okay. Let's say 5 people are fighting elections. Like UK, yes, FPTPS is there in UK also. Yes. बता रहा हूँ आदित्य. So first past the post system is with regards to Lok Sabha election or legislative assembly election. 1 MP. So this is an election of member of parliament. So people will directly go and vote, like you have seen 2 years back, somewhere around March, April, and 2024, we had seen general election. So everyone will go and vote for 1 election. For example, let's say you are living. Let's take an example of Varanasi. Because here Prime Minister Modi is actually the Lok Sabha MP. Now, this is the constituency of where Prime Minister PM Modi is elected as a Lok Sabha MP. Here, I'm not saying as a Prime Minister. He is elected as a Lok Sabha MP from there. So what will happen? Let's say there are 5 candidates: A, B, C, D, E. Okay. Let's say I'm just assuming it. I don't know what is the number, but just let's assume there are actually 1,000 voters. A has got, let's say, 300 votes. B has got 250 votes. C has got only 50 votes. D has got 90 votes. तो कितना बचा? 550, 600, 690 है ना? 690. E has got 200 votes, 890. And Nota मिल गया 110, 890, 110 votes. Now, what I wanted to highlight is the one who has got highest number of votes. Who has got highest number of votes? A. That person will be elected as member of parliament. Or if there is a MLA election, MLA. This is called as first past the post. You have to just beat others. Even if you have got less than half voters. So 1,000 voters went. You have not even got 500 votes. So here you do not need that simple majority चाहिए, यहाँ पे नहीं चाहिए होगा. Individually in Lok Sabha seats, whenever elections happen, you do not need crossing the half mark here. You just need first past the post system. मतलब ये होता है, आप जानते होगे, जैसे रेस होता है, मान लीजिए मैराथन में रेस होता है ना. सो ये कार रेस हो रहा है, ये कार है, यहाँ पे दूसरा कार है, यहाँ पे तीसरी कार है, चौथी कार है. And this is the post, final post. The thing is, you have to just beat others. If you have reached first, you have won. No matter how much time you have taken. आप अगर सबसे पहले पहुंच गए, चाहे कितना भी टाइम लिए, आप you are the winner. You have to reach the post. So first past the post means even if you have not got half of the voters voting, still you will be the winner if you have beaten others. Just बाकी से ज़्यादा होना चाहिए. Even if Nota has got more votes, still you will be the winner. मान लीजिए नोटा को 400 votes मिल जाता, still A would have been the winner. You know this? So Nota is not right to reject. Okay, this is called as first past the post, but this is implemented only at Lok Sabha, MP and Legislative Assembly elections, है ना? For Lok Sabha elections or for MLA elections, this happens. But once they choose the prime minister, they need majority, है ना? Now, for example, out of 543, Lok Sabha MPs have been elected through first past the post system. Now, after that, they want to make their prime minister. So out of this, for example, if you have a political party, you need at least 272 seats. You have to cross the half mark to make your prime minister. Here you need majority, crossing the half mark. So you got the concept? समझ में आया? Yes, the one with highest. Yes, Aditya, Chavi Sharma, you all the right. ठीक है, I hope it's clear. Yes, Dexter's play. Answer was B. हाँ. We're talking about first past the post system, है ना? So ये सब छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं, but questions आते हैं conceptual clarity के, and you should be crystal clear on this topic. Who gives assent to the bills when it is passed by both the houses of the parliament? Of course, assent मतलब होता है sign करना, है ना? When Lok Sabha Rajya Sabha passes it, goes to the president and president signs it. अच्छा, कभी कभी वर्ड लिखा रहता है प्रेसिडेंट विथ होल्डिंग द एसेंट. इसका क्या मतलब होता है? कहीं पढ़ा है? Evans here too. So Evans here. Yes, Aditya. ऐसा क्वेश्चन है CLAT में. विथ होल्डिंग द एसेंट का मतलब क्या हुआ? पॉकेट वीटो? नहीं, नॉट पॉकेट वीटो. Not pocket veto, no. Not approved, neither disapproving. Yet to be approved. That's why I've asked it, because on the face of it, it is confusing. It means the president has rejected the bill. Withholding the asset का मतलब होता है withhold कर दिया, ने reject कर दिया bill. हालांकि it is quite confusing. Withholding the asset in general means कि okay, he is actually still deciding, है ना? But no, withholding the asset means rejecting the bill. Absolute veto. ठीक है? So that's what you should know, है ना? Now, technically, pocket veto is not mentioned in the constitution explicitly. Pocket veto मतलब क्या होता है? Pocket veto means president is not deciding on the bill. ठीक है? So constitution, when you read, it talks about president can give assent. President, instead of using the word rejecting, they are using withhold the assent, means reject the bill. And in some case, send back the bill, है ना? Okay. तो अब देखो, मैं बताता हूँ. These are the words mentioned in the constitution. Assent the bill, तो ये veto होगा नहीं. It means he has, the person has signed, the president has signed the bill. Okay, बता रहा हूँ, what is pocket veto? I'm explaining. Withholding the asset means rejecting the bill. So इसका मतलब होता है absolute veto. He has rejected, he or she has rejected the bill. The president of India. Sending back is actually called as something called as qualified veto. और नहीं, उसको एग्जैक्टली क्या लिखते हैं? नहीं, क्वालिफाइड वीटो तो यूएस में होता है ना? Let me check. I'm not able to recall that word. Yes. Actually, qualified veto technically नहीं होता है because India में क्या होता है कि when the president sends back, the legislature can again send back with a simple majority. But America वगैरह में क्या होता है? In USA, we have this concept that when the president has sent back, they need higher majority. They need 2/3 majority. That's called as qualified veto. ठीक है ना? So there's some other absolute veto. है ना? हाँ, it is called as suspensive veto. Sorry, हाँ. जो कि क्वालिफाइड वेटो इंडिया में नहीं होता है, सस्पेंसिव वेटो ऐसा कहते हैं कि दे हैव सेंट द बैक एंड यू शुड रीथिंक ऑन दिस, है ना? सो वी हैव सीन समटाइम्स, है ना? और पॉकेट वेटो क्या होता है मैं बताता हूं. पॉकेट वेटो का मतलब होता है एक्चुअली द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन नोवेयर टॉक्स अबाउट टाइमलाइन, डेडलाइन फॉर अ प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया टू साइन द बिल. इसमें काफी हंगामा हुआ था लास्ट ईयर. आई एम श्योर यू मस्ट हैव रेड दिस. Means the constitution nowhere mentions that yes, the president has to sign it within this much time. So it means this is an implicit. It is not directly mentioned in the constitution, but it is implicit. For example, the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha passes it, and the president says, "I will not do anything. Neither I will reject the bill, nor I will send back, nor I will." Bas table pada rahega. It will be on the table. That is called as pocket veto. So not explicitly mentioned in the constitution, but practically it is there because there is no deadline mentioned. Now, last year we have seen a Supreme Court judgment with regards to governors and president signing the bill. तो उसमें बहुत लंबा चौड़ा story है. The story was they had given 3 months time period, है ना? 3 months and in some case 2 months time period. But again, that was a 2-judge bench order. Then again, presidential reference happened in Article 143. The Supreme Court gave advice that no, there is no pocket veto. There is no deadline mentioned in the Constitution. तो सब बहुत सारे डिटेल है. Thing is, yes. Tamil Nadu case, actually what happened was the Supreme Court used Article 142 last year, 2 judges, and they said that yes, president and governor have only 3 months time period. So it means technically pocket veto is gone. Okay, what happened was later on there is Article 143 under which the presidential reference we call. The president can ask advice from the Supreme Court. Five judges of the Supreme Court gave the advice that look, this 3 months deadline is not there. Of course, it is not mentioned in the Constitution, and the president is not bound by this. However, this presidential reference is a non-binding order. So all the constitutional experts said that yes, this previous judgment, 2-judgment order still remains because it was a judicial order. So for all practical purpose, the pocket veto has gone by the 2-judge bench order because ये तो एक advice था सिर्फ 143 के अंदर. Pocket veto got pocketed. Great. We have to remember all the articles. Not remember all the articles. Famous articles of fundamental rights and DPSP you should remember. That's it. And few articles which is in the news. Okay. Now next question. काफी लंबी चौड़ी कहानी हो गई. Let's move on to the next one. Parliament comprises of what? Very important. And please tell me why. Yes, Parliament comprises of 2 houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, as well as President of India. Yes. Why President of India? Where it is mentioned? How do I get to know that C should be the answer? कहाँ लिखा हुआ ऐसा कुछ? Article 79. President and 2 houses. Council of States means Rajya Sabha and House of People means Lok Sabha. Yes, Parth, very good. देखो कुछ चीजें को बताते हैं. We talk about there's a term called as separation of powers. Have you heard that? Separation of powers. These are conceptual clarity terms. Separation of powers. So separation of powers किसके किसके बीच है? Legislature, executive and judiciary. अब देखो कुछ चीज मैं बताता हूं. Legislature is at central level we have parliament, but parliament में लोकसभा है, राज्यसभा है और president भी है. और यूनियन एग्जीक्यूटिव में भी प्रेसिडेंट होते हैं, प्रेसिडेंट, प्राइम मिनिस्टर. यू नो यूनियन एग्जीक्यूटिव कंप्राइज ऑफ 5 पीपल, प्रेसिडेंट, प्राइम मिनिस्टर, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट, काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स एंड अटॉर्नी जनरल, है ना. ओके, अब देखो मैं आपको एक चीज बताता हूं. प्रेसिडेंट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ लेजिस्लेचर, प्रेसिडेंट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ एग्जीक्यूटिव. कहां सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर? वेयर इज द सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर? Just I wanted to know. And not only that, president also appoints Supreme Court and High Court judges. And if they want to resign, they have to send it to the president. Where is the separation of power? I wanted to ask you. What should be the answer? Am I wrong, or is there any other concept behind it? I want a strong, like substantial answer. Amen. The answer is there is no watertight separation of powers in India. That is the answer. मतलब नहीं, जुडिशियल रिव्यू नहीं होगा आंसर. मैं बताता हूं. देयर इज सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर, बट दिस डज नॉट मीन इट इज वाटर टाइट कि एक दूसरे से के इसमें जा ही नहीं सकते डोमेन में. इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट. ऑलवेज रिमेंबर. नाउ व्हाट डज इट मीन? यस, सो देयर इज एक्चुअली, फॉर एग्जांपल, यस आप देख सकते हो, प्रेसिडेंट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ लेजिस्लेचर, प्रेसिडेंट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ एग्जीक्यूटिव. ओवरलैपिंग कह सकते हैं. देयर इज नो वाटर टाइट. वाटर टाइट मींस ऐसा नहीं कि एकदम कंप्लीट सेपरेट कंपार्टमेंट है. देयर कैन नॉट बी एनी इंटरवेंशन और समथिंग लाइक दैट. For example, even the parliament can remove the Supreme Court judges and High Court judges, which is actually water tight separation of power. का मतलब है कि मान लीजिए एक ट्यूब है, दूसरा ट्यूब है, तीसरा ट्यूब है, तीनों में पानी रखा गया. इसमें देखो, इमेजिन देयर इज अ ट्यूब. वाटर टाइट का क्या होता है? ठीक है, मान लीजिए एक बॉटल है. ठीक है, बॉटल में वी हैव डन पार्टीशन. ओके, एक में आपने डाल दिया इथेनॉल, एक में डाला पेट्रोल, और एक में डाला वाटर. सो वाटर टाइट सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर मतलब है कि ना ही इधर से लीक करेगा, ना ही से इधर से जाएगा. दैट्स कॉल्ड एज, देयर इज नो लीकेज फ्रॉम वन साइड टू द अदर. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज वाटर टाइट. यानी जरा सा भी एक दूसरे के पास इधर उधर नहीं जाएगा. सो आई एम सेइंग देयर इज नो वाटर टाइट सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर. इट मींस इट इज नॉट कि एकदम वाटर टाइट ही कि उधर जा ही नहीं सकता है. देयर इज नो सच रिस्ट्रिक्शन, है ना. Because there is a concept of checks and balance, और वहीं से होगा. So the parliament can remove a Supreme Court and High Court judge, and the Supreme Court can strike down the law made by the parliament. होता है कि नहीं? Parliament makes a law, Supreme Court strikes it down. National Judicial Appointment Commission, it was a constitutional amendment struck down by Supreme Court. The executive takes some decision, president, prime minister takes some decision invalidated by the Supreme Court. बहुत बार होता है, right? And the president appoints the Supreme Court and High Court judges. ये सब होता है कि नहीं? All these things happen, है ना? And when a Supreme Court and High Court judge is removed by the parliament, final signature is of the president. ठीक है? Okay, and there are many other things, है ना? बहुत सारे में intermixing होता है. So to ensure checks and balances, yes, someone had written this word, checks and balances. There is no watertight separation of power. ठीक है? So this has to be very crystal clear. नहीं, सेपरेशन ओनली फॉर नेम सेक भी ठीक नहीं है. देखो, नेम सेक के लिए नहीं है. सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू एंश्योर इंडिपेंडेंस, इंडिपेंडेंट फंक्शनिंग. एक्चुअली कॉन्सेप्ट किसका मैं बताता हूं. जॉन लॉक, हैव यू हर्ड अबाउट दिस वेरी फेमस पर्सन? ये प्रिंसिपल ऑफ नेचुरल जस्टिस से फ्लो होता है. ही गिव द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स. वेरी फेमस फिलोसोफर. ही सेड you cannot become a policeman and a judge at one time, है ना. So legislature, executive and judiciary should be separate, है ना. मान लीजिए किसी ने पुलिस ने अरेस्ट किया, police has arrested someone, Y person, and the police becomes a judge. This is very dangerous, right? Executive and the judiciary should be separate. समझो ना? हाँ. So John Locke, yes, French Revolution and all. So separation of power is very important to ensure principle of natural justice. जो पुलिस अरेस्ट किया वही जज बन जाएगा. There has to be someone at the independent authority. That's very important to ensure principle of natural justice. So that's why we have independent judiciary. But there are checks and balances. किसी को full power नहीं दिया सकता. Nobody can say कि we are living in an island. Legislature is completely different, executive is completely different, judiciary is completely different. No. समझो ना? So we are saying separation of power is there, but there is no watertight separation of power because we need checks and balances also. Unnecessary, there should not be too much interference in judiciary, of course, because इसको protect करना सबसे ज़्यादा important है independence के लिए. Because generally legislature से they are actually executives are written on prime minister, president, etc. But ये तो independent होनी चाहिए ना, इंसाफ यहाँ से मिल रहा है. So of course that is what the idea is, separation of powers. Okay, the next one is which of the following lower house is the lower house of parliament? I'm sure you must be knowing it. Lower house. अच्छा पता है, when you read the constitution they do not use the word Lok Sabha, they will use the word house of people. कई बार तो लोग ये कंफ्यूज करते हैं ये क्या होता है. That is nothing but Lok Sabha. And like है ना, और upper house कौन सा होगा? So Rajya Sabha is the upper house. अच्छा इनको हाउस ऑफ एल्डर्स भी कहते हैं, बड़े लोग होते हैं उम्र में ऑन एन एवरेज. और मेन एक्चुअली द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन यूजेस द टर्म काउंसिल ऑफ स्टेट्स because they are elected by MLAs from the state. MLAs from the state go and vote for Rajya Sabha. Yes, Parth Saraswat, you are right. Montesquieu is called a separation of powers, but there are a lot of philosophers who gave the philosophy. But John Locke का भी मेन था, बाद में Montesquieu ने और डिटेल में बताया था separation of powers. John Locke had given a basic concept, है ना? That's why Montesquieu is given called as father of separation of powers because he explained in detail. ठीक है, खैर. So we are talking about this, है ना? ये हो गया हाउस ऑफ एल्डर्स. अच्छा, एक चीज पूछ रहा हूँ, why राज्यसभा is called as house of elders? Any idea? I want these questions in CLAT, so everyone will answer. ऐसा क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में आना चाहिए जो आपको आता हो बाकी लोगों को नहीं, है ना? Because if these easy question will come, everyone will solve. And it's actually all about competition. So you have to work hard. You have to push extra, give an extra push, beating others. Age limit is not 35. Age minimum age is 30 years. In case of Rajya Sabha, and in case of Lok Sabha, 25 years. So generally it is presumed that on an average, the age of people, if you take the average age of Rajya Sabha MPs, they are generally more as compared to on an average age of Lok Sabha MPs. Rajya Sabha वाली का ज़्यादा होता है. Rajya Sabha MPs have more age. Average age है ना, generally, because of course minimum age का difference है. It is not 35 years. Minimum for 35 years is for president, vice president, governor, इन लोग के लिए होता है 35 years. अच्छा, I have discussed president, vice president, and governor. What is the minimum age of prime minister? I did not use the word prime minister for 35 years. I said president, vice president, governor. What is the minimum age for prime minister? Let me see. Common sense. It's not only about knowledge, but it is mentioned on the screen. No minimum age, someone is saying. Acha, what is the condition for being a prime minister? How can you become a prime minister? पहले ऐसे सोचो. You have to be either a Lok Sabha MP or a Rajya Sabha MP. Or at least you have to become in the next 6 months, even if you are not. So Lok Sabha MP is 25, Rajya Sabha MP is 30. So minimum will be 25. Right? So minimum you should be at 25 years to become Prime Minister of India. Okay? Achha, what is the minimum age of a Supreme Court judge mentioned in the Constitution? Minimum age for becoming a Supreme Court judge mentioned in the Constitution. What is the minimum age? 45, 50 people. Yes, Dexter's plays right. There is no such age mentioned in the Constitution of India with regards to minimum age for a Supreme Court or High Court judge. But yes, it is practically speaking, no one before 50 can become a judge. at least in recent years, I would say even 55. Hardly you will find anyone becoming a Supreme Court judge who is less than 55 years of age. Because आप ऐसे ही सोचो ना उनको like they have to practice as a lawyer 10 years and all 5-year high court judge etc. Plus of course the lot of eligibility. So practically speaking 50 से कम में कोई नहीं बनते. Minimum I would say 50. High court judges we have seen in 40s becoming high court judges. So that's what you should know. Okay, let's move on. तो हमने ही पूछा था mention the constitution. So the constitution never talks about the minimum age for Supreme Court judge. Because they knew कि वो अपने आप adjust हो जाएंगे, मतलब ऐसा requirement नहीं. जैसे होता क्या प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनने के लिए you do not need experience कि you should have practiced as a lawyer for 10 years or a high court judge. ऐसा नहीं ना कोई minimum age, that minimum experience. और वैसे भी आप ऐसे सोचो कोई आदमी जो ऐसे 12th पास किया 17-18 ईयर्स का, फिर 5 साल LLB करेगा, LLM करेगा, है ना, उसके बाद फिर प्रैक्टिस करेगा, तो आप देखते हो एज तो हो ही जाएगी. बिना LLB के थोड़ी लॉयर बन सकता है कोई ऐसे, है ना. बट दैट देयर इज नो सच कंडीशन फॉर बीइंग अ प्राइम मिनिस्टर और प्रेसिडेंट. यू डू नॉट नीड एनी टेक्निकल डिग्री दैट यू शुड हैव कंप्लीटेड अ ग्रेजुएशन और 10th और 12th, है ना. वो नहीं है तो इसलिए वो अपने आप मिनिमम एज सेट हो जाएगा. ऑल्दो ऑफिशियली इट इज नॉट मेंशन्ड. Next one. Easiest question of the day, है ना. Justice Fatma Bibi. Someone said option B, but that is not correct. Why is option B not correct? Why is option B not correct? She is going to be the first woman Chief Justice of India in 2027 for few days. In 2027 के आसपास बनेंगे और हार्डली 35-36 डेज के लिए, मतलब बहुत फॉर स्मॉल पीरियड, इवन लेस देन 2 months I would say, है ना. She will be the Chief Justice of India. So इसीलिए बीबी नागरत्ना, you should know the name. Her father was also the Chief Justice of India. And Justice Fatma Bibi was the first woman judge of Supreme Court of India. She later on became the governor of Tamil Nadu. ठीक है. हाँ, तो ये न्यूज आई थी नवंबर 2023 की न्यूज है. That she died actually in November 2023, and after retirement she was appointed as the governor of Tamil Nadu. Okay, ये तो हो ही गया. We have discussed it. First woman CJI. Answer is BV Nagaratna. है ना. So we have discussed, है ना. तो एक चीज और पूछते हैं. फर्स्ट वुमेन लॉयर पूछा जाता है. What is the answer? ये पूछा गया था स्लैट एग्जाम में. What is the answer? Anyone? Cornelia Sorabji, very good. Yes, Path, very good. ठीक है. So this is all about today's class. Please subscribe to our channel, press the like button, share this video. Thank you everyone. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Good night.